Hello, everyone. I all hope you had a very, very wonderful, great, blessed weekend and a great, great day and a morning indeed as well, guys. As you can see, guys, today the weather is quietly beautiful. It's quietly, very much quietly beautiful, skyly clear, beautiful, and very much quietly still a bit cold within the midst of the beautiful sky as well. Despite this, guys, I'm superly grateful for your support in watching and viewing my episodes from shorts and from long videos, and especially from TikTok as well, and from those of you who are also subscribing as well. May God bless you, and may God bless you and protect you and be with you in everything else you're trying to do and in everything else that you're also trying to pursue. And remember, guys, stay strong and stay happy and love yourself as well. Despite that, guys, I'm truly grateful and I'm very, very grateful to you guys in viewing and watching my episodes from YouTube and from TikTok and from all sizes, and from those of you who are also subscribing as well, and from TikTok and also and from YouTube as well, means gratefully a lot to me. Have a wonderful, blessed, great day and enjoy yourself, and may God bless you and protect you as well. On today's episode, we're to speak about a group of powerful, dark, mysterious magic users known as the Dark Seekers, who were originally the followers of a powerful, dark, ancient witch known as Amber, the goddess of power, or known by other words, the witch of power, who is the wife of the original Lord of Magic, who is actually the wife of the original Lord of Magic, the one who actually passed away in the one who actually passed away and faced his demise against the child of prophecy known as Grayson Ferris, the new Universal Man as well, who also exactly faced up against the original Lord of Magic and brought about his end, and also created a power vacuum within the Shadow Empire itself as well. And now the Dark Seekers, the mysterious Dark Seekers of powerful dark magic users, are now currently the followers of an ancient secret group of powerful super villains known as Sacred Five, with the sole goal of controlling and ruling the known universe and the sacred world and the sacred universe and humanity in a process to further the ultimate goals and plans for soul domination over the sacred world and over the sacred universe. And the dark magic users known as the Dark Seekers are very quietly, frenetically faithful to the organization's goals and to its missions now, and are willing to make sure the organization's goals and missions bears fruit. So let's begin. The dark magic users known as the Dark Seekers are very mysterious, dark, and powerful magic users who are quietly unknown. Their origins are completely a mystery to the rest of the Shadow Empire warlords and to the Four Nation Hunters, who briefly exactly fought with them during the time when the original Lord of Magic was in power, where Amber had a group of powerful, faithful followers and servants of dark, powerful magic users known as the Dark Seekers, who gratefully follow her command and her every wish and her desires, who also previously helped her with her previous dark magical experiments with shadow energy in creating destructive, powerful weapons for the Shadow Empire and harnessing Shadow Energy's powers and its capability to make sure that the Shadow Empire remains the dominant ruling force in the entire sacred universe and throughout the known universe, which was thanks to Amber and the rest of her dark magic user followers that the Shadow Empire and the original Lord of Magic's reign remained untouchable and remained the dominant force throughout the great centuries, throughout the ancient times, and throughout the centuries of the sacred galactic dark war, that the hero was able to remain in power and still able to remain the dominant ruler of the sacred universe and of the sacred world. It was thanks to his wife and her followers that made the original Lord of Magic's advancement and his greater ambition and his power and in his power in controlling the Shadow Empire, making it the dominant ruling force, thanks to their knowledge and to their great expertise in dark magic and in science, and with Amber's assistance in her expertise in science and in technology, that the Shadow Empire and the original Lord of Magic remain in power and remain the only powerful dark empire throughout the sacred world's history that can easily control and conquer many merciless worlds in the process as well. But regardless of the less, guys, the Dark Seekers were quietly a mysterious group of unknown dark magic users who are quietly unknown, and the Four-Nation Hunters don't know exactly their history, their origins, where they actually exactly come from, or where they actually exactly reside from. But all they know that they are part magical creatures and a part powerful dark magical beings, and very, very, very highly acceptable, and very, very highly acceptable to magical abilities and all other immunities to magical powers of Four-Nation Hunters' abilities and their powers, which grant them greater superhuman strength and superhuman physiology and levitation powers, and a power of creating dark energy of lightning, and a power of teleportation. The dark magic users known as the Dark Seekers are very, very loyal to Amber and to the original Lord of Magic. Within the ancient times of the great centuries of the sacred wars, galactic wars, and balance and conflicts of the sacred civil wars of the sacred world, the dark magic users known as the Dark Seekers were quietly founded by Amber, who is known to be the goddess of power, or known by another alias, the Witch of Power, which she has two aliases and many other mysterious aliases as well, which was able to come by different, many dark names and different, many transparentable aliases over the following centuries and over the following years as well. The Dark Seekers exactly were very grateful that Amber managed to find them, and that they managed to find a powerful dark high priestess of an ancient witch known as Amber, the goddess of power, or known by another name, the Witch of Power. Amber gratefully took the dark magic users under her wing, trained them, gave them proper dark guidance of how to master their dark magical abilities and their dark arts powers. Over the following centuries, the dark magic users known as the Dark Seekers became a very powerful fanatical group of dark magic users, due to them being led by a powerful dark witch. Every evil warlord and druid every evil warlord and druid and warlock and fairies and witches know very well to never to actually cross them throughout the following centuries. It was due to the experience being with Amber that they've gained so much knowledge with her actually leading them on the way, that they managed to gain more experience about their powers and their greater hidden abilities and their expertise, with the most powerful ancient being by her side, leading them with great authority. Due to that, they began ravaging many magical worlds, planets, and civilizations under the direct orders of the original Lord of Magic, with who they gratefully exactly also believed in, and quietly also believed in his goal and his sole obligation. By doing so, there were thousands of the dark magical users of the Dark Seekers, thousands meaning millions of them, who began carrying out the orders that Amber and the original Lord of Magic actually gave them, to start searching for the mysteries of immortality and power and death, and the mysterious secrets of shadow energy in its process, so he can harness it, so he can become extremely more immortal and live for longer and for many, many centuries to come. During the following centuries in the ancient times, Amber and her followers spread thin throughout the rest of the sacred universe, searching for more powerful hidden secrets and hidden forbidden techniques and knowledges and powerful books, in order for them to obtain more power, so that the original Lord of Magic can live longer and also can extend his life force and his powers in a greater divine ability than ever before, which he actually did. The Dark Seekers were very, very loyal and were very, very obedient dark magic users, who believed in both their masters and their high priestesses, and were willing to carry out their orders. They even began attacking and besieging other magical worlds and planets and villages across the sacred magic universe, in order to gain more powers and more abilities for their masters and for their leaders, which in turns out makes them dangerous and very deadly. The Dark Seekers exactly gave Amber and the original Lord of Magic more knowledge and more greater powers and abilities, and more hidden clues about immortality, life and death powers, and greater abilities and dark forbidden techniques on how to controlling and utilizing shadow energy's powers and its hidden capabilities in the process. It was thanks to the Dark Seekers who actually provided the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders with more power and with more abilities and with more destructive technology, that the advancements actually began to evolve, and highly adapting and evolving over the following centuries and ages of the sacred universe and of the sacred world, that the Formation Hunters technology wasn't also keeping up with the advancement and with the evolution of the Shadow Empire's technology and advancement as well, that the both technologies could never easily adapt at the very faster rate than ever before, that the Shadow Empire was able to discover hidden technologies and very, very powerful destructive technologies that they were willing to supply it to dangerous ancient groups of super villains that also wanted that technology for their own usable gain to destroy the obstacles and the threats that were also posing a very threatening, that were also posing a threat to their goals and to their long-term goals and mission as well. Regardless of the last, the Dark Seekers fulfilled their majority and their purpose role in the Shadow Empire, and their frenetic loyalty to Amber and to the original Lord of Magic. It was thanks to them that they can easily root out spies, moles, traitors, interrogate them, and it was thanks to the Dark Seekers' knowledge and also inception of experience in dark magic that enabled the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders' weapons to highly evolve in a further more lesser rate than ever possible as well throughout the following centuries and ages. The Darkseekers continued out their given task and a mission as they remained within the central headquarters of the Shadow Empire, where Amber and the original Lord of Magic resided from, where by doing so they helped Amber with more powerful, vast, furious, dangerous, dark experiments in creating destructive technology and also in controlling Shadow Energy's power and in its greatest form, and it's also in its darkest and unpuritized form and uncatalytic form, that the original Lord of Magic was able to infuse himself with it many times, as in many times, and also in multiple times, growing more powerful and more independently, more immortal, and more very dangerous than ever before. The Dark Seekers even exactly assisted Amber with her researches, with her crucial researches, and with her crucial researches, and with her crucial researches and everything else that regarded to power, darkness, magic, abilities, inception, and all of that as well. On the 15th of January, the Darkseekers were actually seen interrogating a powerful Shadow Empire warlord who was actually given proper clearance on what happened to the lost transportation meeting, as the Shadow Empire warlord exactly told the Darkseekers that the Universal Heroes and the rest of the United Heroes completely ruined everything. They jeopardized the transportation system of the technology that was supposed to be supplied to the unknown associate, which they were able to exactly incept it and also able to intercept it and completely ruined it off completely. The Darkseekers were not very completely happy as they were able to relay the news to Amber, as Amber told her followers that this matter must not get out until they dealt with the problem in a very more dangerous and very cautious way in order to know exactly what they're dealing with as well. On the central headquarters of the Shadow Empires, on the central headquarters of the Shadow Empire's true headquarters of base of operation. That is exactly where the meeting actually took place. On the 20th of January, the Darkseekers were also quietly seen helping Amber practice her dark arts and her magical abilities, as they all combined their dark magic together and their dark powers all together and tried to nullify the greater abilities of dark magic and the power of shadow energy at will, as Amber was able to focus that power and that ability and that ability and power to amplify her power and her abilities in a greater way, in a more mysterious way, as the Darkseekers actually helped her crack the secrets, to crack the secrets of creating dark and powerful, mysterious illusions at will, which Amber was able to do that at will as well. On the 25th of January, on the death of the original Lord of Magic, which created a power vacuum unlike anything else ever before, due to him facing the child of prophecy known as Grayson Ferris, who is the new Universal Man and who is the son of the previous Universal Man and woman who were his parents and who were superheroes who actually protected him and hid him from the original Lord of Magic, who was graciously, exactly obsessively hunting him down across the ends of the sacred universe as well. On that very day, it created a power vacuum which continued to grow until the 1st of February, which it began to grow mercilessly on that day and on that eve. And the dark seekers were never seen on that day until Amber exactly began making preparations and steps to finalize her plans and her goals and her mission on that very day, when the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders all began fighting amongst themselves for the Shadow Empire throne, while the others secretly saw loyalties to other secret, dangerous, ancient organizations of supervillains, while the others formed their own formidable factions, and the others wanted the Shadow Empire throne for themselves, while also not realizing that they actually paved a way for a dangerous new threat to actually take advantage of the Shadow Empire's chaos and turmoil for themselves, in order for them to exploit it for their own evil purposes and dark reasons, for their own, to actually carry out their own sinister plan in the actual process as well. On the 15th of February, another power vacuum within the Shadow Empire began to actually emerge again, due to the disappearance of the Universal heroes not being present in the entire sacred universe, while they were fighting another sinister threat on the other side of the sacred universe, which created a huge cosmic explosion on both fringes of two universes, which it resulted in them being mysteriously to be rumored to be dead, or either to be mysteriously to be rumored to be gone completely, which the power vacuum, and this time the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders mysteriously saw allegiances to themselves, as they all exactly formed their own formidable factions. They graciously formed their own formidable factions of their own fleets of battle cruisers to place them under their sole control, while the others still exactly saw allegiances and loyalty to the other ancient groups of supervillains, while the others exactly placed their allegiances and loyalty to the new Lord of Magic and to his ancient secret society that he managed to reassemble that existed many centuries ago as well, while the others wanted to regain control of the Shadow Empire in order to place it under their sole control, so that they can become the ruling leaders of the Shadow Empire as well for themselves. On that particular moment and time and day, between 16 and 17, Amber, the goddess of power, known as a witch of power, decided to forsaken her followers and decided to actually leave them behind, and she had no interest in leading them, or rather guiding them to any further purposes, as she realizes that she has her own plans and her own goal to pursue. She decided to actually leave her followers, and she decided to actually forsake them once and for all. When the Dark Seekers were completely forsaken by their higher leader, known as Amber, the goddess of power, or rather the witch of power, they actually took a different drastic actions of measures of their own in order to actually find a way to regain her trust and her loyalty once again. And they discovered to do that, they had to kill the obstacles that actually brought the treachery of Amber to forsaken them, meaning the forces of the intergalactic coalition of the Four Nation Hunters had to be wiped out, and they had to be killed right away completely. On the 20th of February, the Dark Seekers literally attacked the entire intergalactic coalition of the Four Nation Hunters on their basis of operation, as they completely mercilessly hunted them down and completely killed them, while the other Dark Seekers decided to defect from the Coven's group in order to find their clear way, while the others also defected, feeling that the power vacuum of the Shadow Empire has made them lose their way, and they decided to go back to their original way, while the others wanted to actually regain Amber's trust and her loyalty to come back to her ranks, and they're willing to do so by any means necessary in order to kill the Universal heroes who were thought to be dead, as they actually quietly did so as well, as the Universal heroes returned finding the entire basis of the intergalactic coalition of the Four Nation Hunters on other worlds and planets to be besieged by dark magic, and ever before they were quietly lured into a trap by a powerful, faithful, mysterious dark seeker who was still frenetically faithful to Amber, who was willing to carry out her final orders and wishes to execute and annihilate the Universal Heroes or any members of the Intergalactic Coalition who were still to be rumored alive and still practically did so in order to return to her ranks, but he was also quietly dead as he faced his greatest demise at the hands of the Universal Heroes, as was quietly defeated as well. Over the following months and years, since the Darkseekers were never heard from or seen again since the Universal Heroes returned, and the new Lord of Magic rose and ascended to power from the shadows of the Sacred World, and ancient, powerful, shadowy groups of supervillains began rising and also ascending in power, slowly but very quickly, due to them gaining more power and more influence and more connections towards the Sacred World, towards the Sacred World's criminally underworld, and towards the Sacred Universe's world and planets' influence that they managed to mysteriously control and placing them under the control. The Darkseekers were never, after all, seen or graciously heard from ever again, or quietly ever seen or heard from since from March, April, May, June, and July. They were never graciously exactly seen from or heard from again since those past few months and those years. They were never actually seen from or literally heard from again since the Intergalactic Coalition managed to liberate thousands of worlds and planets and civilization in one fell swoop, as the Universal Heroes managed to bring a positive change, a positive change and a positive difference to the entire sacred universe, and to the entire sacred world as well, within its past few weeks and months as well. On the 29th of August, the Darkseekers were all quietly seen in a hidden, mysterious, dark, magical crystal cave where they all exactly mysteriously actually begin to convene, as they all decided to weigh their options about their plans and about their goals and about their elaborate plans and their goals, as well as they all practically agree that Amber has indeed, after all, forsaken them and managed to graciously exactly leave them behind without actually caring for them, meaning that they had to actually find another way to regain her respect, and also to find a way to actually joining her back to her rightful ranks once and for all as well. On the 25th of September, the Darkseekers actually reconvene again on a powerful dark crystal labyrinth cave where they were actually unknown, or rather privately unseen again, where they all exactly discuss their options and their final plans in order to further their goals and their plans as well, in order for them to actually find a way to regain Amber's respect and honor. But despite that, they quietly realized that they actually hit a dead end, and they were not actually able to regain the leader's respect or honor, or to find a way to join forces with her again, as she actually had no interest in leading them or either guiding them in any other way, since she mysteriously vanished and she was never again seen again from the central headquarters or within the other bases of the Shadow Empire, within the other bases of the Shadow Empire's worlds or planets or systems that the Shadow Empire was managed to control from. After that, they all exactly decided it's best that they actually carry out their own missions and their own way as well. On the 20th of October, the Darkseekers began besieging and attacking the entire Intergalactic Coalition's base of operation of the Four Nation Hunters on many world fronts, as they continue to began to countlessly slaughter them and attack them and mercilessly destroying them with their dark magic powers and their abilities as well, and with the fleet of battle cruisers of the Shadow Empire provided to them and also given to them willingly, as they formed their own faction as well, which resulted in an all-out battle and war, as the Darkseekers continued to besieging the entire basis of operation of the Four Nation Hunters Intergalactic Coalition. But the Four Nation Hunters quietly remained resilient and very persistent, as they also able to remain resilient and persistent, and due to the persistence and to the resilience, they actually remain victorious, and they are able to defeat the dark magic users, as they are able to decimate some of them and destroy some of them in the actual process. Regardless of that, the others teleported away. Some of them remained to fight on until death which they quietly believed in, while the others mysteriously teleported away and were actually never seen again as well. On the 28th of November, the Dark Seekers actually managed to reconvene on a powerful Dark Crystal cave. They're discussing that their plan in attacking the Intergalactic Coalition of the Four Nation Hunters was quietly an actual weighing down option of a plan. Now that it actually brought many of their kind and many of their people down, it's time for them to actually drop their feet and go back to actually where they precisely originated from. And they all agreed to do that as much as they actually accepted the terms and the new deal of their situation as well. On the 29th of December, the Dark Seekers actually went back to the origins of their worlds and planets, which was one of the dark magical worlds and mysterious planets, where they all began secretly meditating and practicing their dark powers and abilities to get more powerful and more stronger than ever before, and they continue to do so as well. On the 25th of January, the Dark Seekers remained within the respective dark worlds and planets, which are uneasily to be located by easy dark magic or white magic, which requires powerful dark magic users to concentrate to finding them and also to mysteriously locate them, where they also remain hidden in a secretive basis of operation in order for them to actually remain hidden to practice their dark arts and their dark magical lessons of their own, where they countlessly exactly continue to do so in order to focus their powers and their abilities in a very, very much growing rate. On the actual 15th of February, the Dark Seekers actually continue to harness new powers and new abilities and new powers and new abilities of their own, where they continue to actually grow stronger and very much more dangerous as well, at the same place and at the same basis of operation as well. That is just actually universe barking and making a noise, meaning that there could be something or something in the world actually presently there as well. Regardless of that, on the 28th of March, the Dark Seekers were quietly approached by a powerful, mysterious figure known as Icewall, who is actually a super villain and who actually introduced himself as the protege of the original Lord of Magic and told the Dark Seekers that he's in desperate need of their expertise and of their power, and he's willing to actually give them the resources and the power and the resources, the ultimate resources and everything else that he's willing to utilize so that the Dark Seekers may join forces with this ancient secret organization known as Sacred Five. The Dark Seekers agreed that they're willing to follow any member or any successor of the original Lord of Magic, which they were able to soon benefit from, which will be able to soon actually benefit from their previous perspectives, as well as they all agreed to doing that as well by any means necessary. And Icewall was very completely pleased and very, very happy to see that the dark magic users have completely decided to join forces with his ancient organization known as Sacred Five as well. On the 25th of May, the dark magic users reconvene with the founder and leader of the ancient secret society known as Sacred Five on an ancient powerful crystal temple, where Icewall exactly told them that with his resources and with his connections to the sacred underworld, to the sacred world's underworld and all of its politicians and connections, he can able to help the Dark Seekers complete their goals and their primary objectives and their mission, as long as it benefits the Sacred Five and their common interest and their common perspective and their common perspectivity of the soul objectives and the soul objective which is what they share in common as well. The Dark Seekers agreed with Icewall. That is what they're willing to actually do, as long as it benefits them in the process and as long as it benefits you and your organization and your members and your associate. They're willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that Sacred Five remains in power and remains in total control as well. On the 29th of June, the Dark Seekers actually managed to crack up a powerful dark crystal within the heart of the asteroid base that they were able to actually find, and in doing so they secretly converged around it, able to release the dark crystal from its cryogenic freeze pod, and in doing so they discovered that the dark crystal still possesses tremendous power and dark magic than ever before, and they decided to utilize it and use it in order to better their skills and their powers and their dark abilities in the process as well. On the 29th of July, the Dark Seekers actually continued with the experiments and with their powers on and on another different base of location, which was a powerful dark laboratory crystal cave, which was beneath an unknown planet, an unknown world of the forest, where they continue to actually further the experiments and the dark powers in the process, where they're able to harness more powers and more abilities and learning the more they were actually able to do it, the more they were actually able to draw more of their people, of the other dark seekers, to come in to join in order to assist them on their various experiments as well, which was able to do so on the very same day. On the 15th of August, one dark seeker actually met up with Icewall on the dark laboratory cave where they were actually present, but somewhere else within the dark chambers. And the other dark seeker told him that the technologies and everything else and the advancements were quite good, and everything else is making extremely progress on its own. Icewall exactly told the dark seeker that he needs their expertise on something very ancient and very powerful, which is shadow energy, and the expertise on that could be very helpful in order to help Icewall finding the way in order to utilize shadow energy and to also focus its dark power and its dark abilities in a more destructive force, so you can turn it into a more destructive force and a weapon. The Dark Seekers agreed that it will help Icewall find a way to utilize shadow energy and to focus its destructive power in a more destructive way, so that the organization can find a way to create darker and mysterious weapons in the process as well. And Icewall was very quietly reassured, as he quietly agreed that he will aid the Dark Seekers in whatever experiments, and he will still utilize his resources. As the Dark Seekers told Icewall that they're also willing to do the same for his organization and for the goal of the original Nola Magic. They, no matter the cost to them, they're willing to fulfill it no matter what. On the 29th of September, the Dark Seekers actually began harnessing crystal magic and abilities on a dark crystal cave, which was on another dark planet, where they were actually able to focus their powers and their ability until they were mysteriously encountered by another powerful dark witch known as Witchcaster, who was also quietly doing her own researches of dark magic and powers and of the dark arts, as she told the Dark Seekers that she's willing to become a mysterious ally to Sacred Five and also to them, as long as they'll benefit her in the process, as long as she'll actually benefit the knowledge and the techniques that the Dark Seekers have managed to discover over the following years after the past few months, and after hearing that Amber has graciously forsaken her followers in order to further her own goals and her own plans in the mission, which was still able to remain a mystery to her previous followers as well. The Dark Seekers were very quietly surprised by Witchcaster, as they told Witchcaster that they have all the assistance they need, but sharing the knowledge in everything else and the techniques, that is what they can agree on, as long as they will benefit the same expertise and knowledge that she can also supply them and also give them in return as well. Amber agreed that she's also able to aid Icewall and Sacred Five on their common interests and goals, as long as she was able to gain more knowledge and more power in order to better her abilities and a way to amplify her powers and her dark magical abilities and magic at will as well. The Dark Seekers completely agreed with that, as they also actually came to a very much of a realization, and they found common ground with the witch Amber, with the Witchcaster as well in the process. On the 19th of October, the Dark Seekers were actually on the different base of headquarters from the different base of headquarters of the secret ancient shadowy organization known as Sacred Five, where they were able to search more about the ancient King of Darkness, who became nothing but a legendary myth to all sacred creatures and beings and magical creatures and dark creatures alike, which they were able to understand that the King of Darkness did something as well that the original Nola Magic was able to do as well, that both of them and the Fallen accomplished something that not even the other light magic users or powerful magical beings and creatures such as fairies, witches, warlocks, druids were literally unable to actually do, but they're actually able to crack the secrets of dark powers and of dark abilities in the process, due to the experience able to gaining more knowledge and more greater knowledge than ever before, which was a faster way to actually spin up, and which was a faster way to actually help them adapt their powers and modernizing their abilities in a very quicker way. They learned that the actual King of Darkness managed to find an ancient powerful root of an ancient powerful root of a flower, which enabled his powers and abilities to remain completely intangible, and able to exactly providing him with a great escort of his powers and abilities to remain the same way. In doing so, they began finding a way they began to actually find a different secretive way to actually amplify their powers and their abilities in a more destructive way, but in a more rather of a powerful way, which could benefit them mercilessly as well in the process. On the actual of 29 of November, the Darkseekers actually entered the sacred enchanted forest that was quietly within the sacred magic universe where the King of Darkness once pledged it into eternal darkness and nightmare by casting nothing more than a powerful dark magical wall of darkness, of eternal darkness and nightmare, where there are dark monsters from an unknown dimension which actually live there for all time. And the Darkseekers entered within the wall of darkness that was quietly within the sacred enchanted forest, where in doing so, they began to discover an ancient dark temple within the darkness itself that they were able to enter, and also able to crack the secrets of powers and ancient powers and abilities, where they saw ancient paintings and writings about the dark, powerful, magical, sacred founders who were rumored to be gone but extinct. But according to them, they were the legendary they were the actual legendary mythical monks of magical creatures, where they actually discovered the powers of darkness and of life magic, where they were able to harness it for their own power and for their own embodiment, which how they were actually able to live, or how they were actually able to be born, or how they actually lived or actually reside throughout the ancient ways, or many years ago, or centuries ago, or the millennia ago, how they were actually able to born remain a mystery to them. But discovered that, but due to that, they were able to gain more faster knowledge and experience with a snap of a finger, as they realized that that's how the King of Darkness discovered the way of how to harness his uncontrollable destructive power of darkness and of shadows at will, which made him feared, and very much how he became the legendary King of Darkness in the process. That by doing so, they decided to run it to Icewall as well. Between December and January, the Darkseekers actually entered the sacred enchanted forest again, and this time they were heavily attacked by the magical wizards who were graciously protecting the sacred enchanted forest, when they realized that the dark magic users have actually been going in there many more times in order to get the mysterious secrets and knowledge, and this time they fought up against them. But the dark magic users, and those Darkseekers, remain resilient and remain completely powerful as they actually defeated them, and the wizards actually call upon the other warlocks and the other druids and the other fairies who are also within the other magical worlds and village in order to help them protect the sacred enchanted forest from powerful dark mysterious users. And the Darkseekers were actually prompt to retreat and to actually remove away from themselves. On the 10th of February, one Darkseeker actually met up with Icewall on a different headquarters and basis of operation, as he told Icewall that they now know the full secrets and the full extent of the power that the King of Darkness and the Fallen and the Original Magic were able to access within their primary ages of their time, before they became the monsters that were actually revered to be. And Icewall was very completely pleased, and as he completely relishes, as he couldn't exactly wait on the news. And the Darkseeker told him all the secrets and everything else. Icewall exactly told the Darkseeker it's time for them to move to the next phase of the plan, and then the next phase of the operation, which is phase 4, meaning initiating the unconditional operation of super psychic attacks of mind magic. Meaning, in other words, they have to gain the most powerful dark ability in sacred history, which is accessing the psychic arts of magical powers and abilities as well, which will also enhance their vision perceptive abilities and their powers at a faster rate than ever before. The Darkseekers completely agree with that, and that they know exactly where to start. Regardless of that, guys, the Darkseekers are completely a powerful, mysterious group of dark, powerful, immortal magic users under Amber's leadership throughout the following centuries and ages. By her leadership, they remain the powerful and dangerous dark magic users ever known and ever feared. How they joined the Shadow Empire remained a mystery to the Four Nation Hunters and to the Elders, because they didn't exactly realize that there were powerful unknown dark magic users and powerful magic users that ever existed in the sacred universe and in the sacred world, which actually kept them guessing and actually gave them a very, very definite skeptical reasons, and also to question the other magical users, if there are other powerful, mysterious, unknown magical users residing within the sacred universe's history or knowledgeable history. But the other headmisters who also became powerful witches and fairies told the Four Nation Hunter Elders that they had no idea that powerful, mysterious, unknown dark magic users ever existed, which they completely told them that it means that their powers and their abilities and their genetic DNA and sequence of their genome of their powers are completely adapting and highly evolving, just as the Fallen predicted that our kind and species are highly evolving and adapting in a faster rate than ever before, that the evolution of the sacred world's creatures and beings are literally adapting in a faster rate than ever before, which could also explain why they are hybrids and tribrids and hybrids of supernatural creatures, of coexistence of creatures that live one another, such as a superhuman race and such as the supernatural race and the alien race and the Four Nation Hunter race, all exactly combining and being mixed up in one another as they form hybrids and descendants of their own kind as well, just as the origins actually explain. Due to that, guys, the Dark Seekers remain mysterious group of powerful dark magic users. There are thousands, as in like literally thousands, millions of their kind and of their species scattered to the fringes of the sacred magical universe of the dark worlds and planets, which they were able to protect those worlds and planets in order to protect their kind and of their species. The only beings that know about their existence and their true origins were the original Lord of Magic and the sacred founders and the other mysterious dark and with the other mysterious dark and mythical magical founders, and with the other dark mysterious magical founders known as the sacred founders of dark magic and of light magic, who knew exactly where they come from, because they are the actual progenitor and the actual origins of the sacred magical creatures and beings, because they know very well that the actual DNA and the actual descendants of a bloodline kept on evolving and adapting through the following centuries and through the following ages of their kind's history. And due to them being connected to the dark sisters, and those are dark witches and the time witches, their DNA and their bloodline of the primary dark magic began to mysteriously evolve over the following ages, which created powerful genetic hybrids and creatures of magical creatures, such as a half druid and a half Four Nation Hunter, being one being and creature residing in one creature and being sharing the same powerful abilities, which granted him more powerful abilities and more powerful genetic DNA abilities as well in the process. It is due to them remaining mysterious and very ancient and very powerful dark magic users that their origins makes them dangerous and very powerful and very mysterious to them. They maintain usual bases of operations, such as the headquarters and the central headquarters, which is a powerful dark world and a planet which houses ancient temples, caves, and elaborate systems of caves which are hidden and protected by dark magic of a hidden invisible dark magical wall of invisibility, which actually prevents them from being located or relocated by powerful magical creatures or magical beings such as wizards, witches, fairies, druids, faithful, and warlocks, and origins and Four Nation Hunters. So I'm trying to pinpoint the exact location for them to be located so that they can actually attack them and actually literally raid the entire place. But they're very smart and very perceptive, intelligent creatures, very fanatically loyal, very fanatically loyal dark magic users to Amber and to the original Lord of Magic. They didn't follow Amber and the original Lord of Magic because of who they are now. They followed them because they believed in their goals and they believed in the true goodness of their goals, because they saw that they had the brightest and great intentions despite them becoming monsters or anything else. They saw that they had the brightest, greatest intentions and that they were really determined and very quietly willing, determined in order to make those intentions bear fruit no matter what. Even if they became monsters or dark beings or whatever things they are, they still followed them mercilessly because they saw their own versions of themselves within their former masters and teachers, which actually made them to believe in themselves again, which granted them the power and the fire ability to actually believe in themselves again. More than that, they also gain that greater perspective and also to be seen and also to be heard from by Amber and from the original Lord of Magic, who actually saw them as more than just servants, as more than just powerful servants and followers, as brothers and sisters as well to the organization and to the Empire. Despite what the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders actually thought about them, they still remain loyal to them. Due to their dark unique abilities, which have been granted them, are summoning, teleportation, opening portals, convergence into energy, and also activating powerful dormant crystal worlds, and the power of mind controlling, the power of creating dark rituals, the power of amplifying the abilities, and the power of great perception and of telekinesis, levitation, super speed, superhuman speed, levitation, and also the power of creating dark magical seals and the power of literally teleporting themselves, which is been granted throughout the following generations to every light, powerful dark magic user as well, which has been very much passed on to all of the species and to all of the rest of the other kind, except for the others who don't have the power of teleportation or the power of opening portals, which different dark users of magic users respond to their powers and their natural abilities, which only depends to one of them or the greatest, and who can actually unlock their potential and their ability if they're willing to focus their determination as well, which also depends to their fiery will and into their drive if they're willing to unlock their mysterious powers and their powers and their abilities and their capabilities in the process. But that all depends to their emotions and to their powers as well, and how far they're willing to go to crack their full potential as well. Amber didn't just see powerful servants, she saw followers and children and sons that she was able to adopt among the Darkseekers, and she continued to mercilessly guide them and give them greater leadership and greater authority along the way, which actually gave them the way to prove great respect among themselves and also to believe in themselves, despite them becoming dark, powerful magic users. They believe in the goals and in the obligation of the original Lord of Magic's goals and objective to annihilate and wipe out the supernaturals and the aliens and the Fornishing Hunters and the universal heroes in the process. They were able to serve them for many centuries and during the ancient times, which means, in other words, they remain fanatically loyal and very, very faithful to Amber and the original Lord of Magic. They knew that the original Lord of Magic had powerful successors in his time, which the Darkseekers were quietly present, even if they were not exactly presently there, but they knew that their master and lord had powerful successors who were ready to take his place if he ever dies on that very day. But regardless of that, even if Amber mysteriously forsaken them and lost interest in them, they still are willing to do whatever it takes to get back in her ranks and are willing to do whatever it takes to show her that they're willing to join forces with her, even if she has no interest in them. But they're still are willing to do whatever it takes to get back in her ranks, even destroying and annihilating the Universal Heroes. But they learned from the hard way that the Intergalactic Coalition and the Universal Heroes work together as one, and it's through them, it's through their bond and their light that makes them very powerful and very dangerous. As they learn, the Universal Heroes and the Fornishing Hunters of the Intergalactic Coalition pose a greater threat and an obstacle to their goals and to their mission. Reluctant of that, they became now the followers of an ancient secret society of supervillains known as Sacred Five, which they also believe in its goals and its mission and its true objective, because Icewall is actually the protege of the original Lord of Magic, who I previously actually told you about on the other videos, and who's also the successor of the original Lord of Magic, and that the Darkseekers actually knew about that. That is why they actually following him, because they knew that he could continue the goal and the mission of the original Lord of Magic. Despite him having his own goal and his own mission as well, they still believe in the obligation of the original Lord of Magic, and they're very fiercely independent, very intelligent creatures and beings, able to do everything on their own and on their own way. Even if they're still following an ancient organization, they still believe in the ways of the original Lord of Magic and of Amber's ways, and they still practically still believe in those ways. They are very loyal and are very obedient dark magic users, very cruel and very ruthless, dark, mysterious, very unknown. Their origins, how they came about or how they joined the Shadow Empire within the following ancient times of the centuries remained a mystery, but they still joined forces working with the Shadow Empire within those previous ancient centuries and those times for for the following centuries under the leadership of Amber, which made them a powerful order and a group of dark magic users. There are 10,000s of them of a kind which are still out there in the sacred universe, and many of them who are still following and believing in the obligation and in the ways of the original Lord of Magic was able to actually create. And they're still able to do that. Regardless of the less, they're very powerful and they're very gifted in controlling shadow energy, combining science and magic all in one together due to the experience with Amber, the goddess of power, the witch of power, to her experience able to utilizing science and magic all in one. It was due to them able to gaining that knowledge due to their former leader and high priestess Amber that made them exceptionally a dangerous group and a very powerful group and unknown. The Four Nation Hunters know very well that dark magic users don't show humanity or compassion to anyone, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that their master's goals and their leader's goals successfully actually bears fruit no matter what. They're extremely intelligent, very powerful, very dangerous, and very, very persistent and very reluctant, and are very, very immortal, and have lived many centuries and during ancient times. There are 10,000s, meaning billions of them, scattered in the sacred magic universe and in the sacred world and in the sacred universe itself and in a known universe. Their origins are complete mystery. But I can tell you one thing: their origins actually align with the sacred founders, of the sacred world, who are the original creatures and beings of the actual ancestry of the supernaturals and of the Four Nation Hunters. So that is one thing in order to help you connect the dots as well. But regardless of the less, their origins remain a complete mystery, and their bloodline is solely primarily powerful and very ancient and very dangerous, which makes their dark magic exceptionally powerful and very ancient and very powerful and very skilled. They're very skilled in converging shadow energy and light magic and light energy all in one, very skilled in waking up monsters and using them to fight against their enemies and against their obstacles. And they're very ambitious and are very loyal to the old ways that the original Lord of Magic and Amber have managed to create during the following centuries and the ancient times of the sacred civil wars and control, when the original Lord of Magic led the Shadow Empire under his current leadership, which makes them exceptionally dangerous. They're very skilled in shadow energy and in light energy, in science, magic abilities, unlocking secrets of immortality, exceptionally skilled, very wise, dangerous, very completely powerful, and also mysterious. Well, guys, that's it for today's episode. I'll actually see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day and have a great blessed day and a great evening and a great afternoon and a night. I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll continue to talking about the other supervillains and the other bad guys as well. I hope you have a wonderful day and a great day indeed. I appreciate your support, guys. Literally do. And may God bless you and protect you and help you in whatever it is that you're also pursuing. And may you stay safe and may you stay happy as well. Like and subscribe, and also have fun and have a good day. Love you guys and take care. Bye.